first section, we're also going to talk about physical literacy. The second goal of the webinar is to talk about what your determinants of movement are. And in the third part, we'll talk about how movement can be incorporated into your home. In the last part, I'm also going to show you some videos, and it would be great if when you watch those videos, you try those at home, take a video of yourself, send it into the clinic. We'd love to see it, and then we can all have some fun together. So starting with what fundamental movement skills are, they're often grouped into three categories. Those are traveling skills, object control skills, and balance skills. So under traveling skills, these are those skills that allow you to move from one space to another space. Things like climbing and leaping and running, skating, swimming, things that move you from one position to another. The object control skills are those skills where you're manipulating any kind of object. You might think of hand-eye coordination in this category. So if you're kicking a ball or throwing a ball or catching it, dribbling, stick handling, all those kinds of skills where you're manipulating an object in space. Then our balance skills is all about body control. So landing and maintaining body control and not falling down, spinning and swinging, turning, floating in water. All these things require body control in the activity. So these fundamental movement skills are really important, and they relate to a concept called physical literacy. Physical literacy is the mastering of these fundamental movement skills and mastering sports skills. Sports skills are things that are specific to a given sport. So that might be serving a ball in volleyball or in tennis, or hitting a ball in baseball. Right? Those are specific sports skills. And physical literacy is being able to confidently and easily interact with your environment in a variety of physically challenging environments. So it's being able to move in new and novel environments. It's feeling comfortable when you go on a hike. It's feeling comfortable being able to hop and skip across the rocks that are in that small stream on your hike. It's feeling comfortable going to the beach and playing a pickup game of beach volleyball. That all plays into physical literacy. And so physical literacy is tied to fundamental movement skills because these fundamental movement skills are the building blocks for life. They are components of an active lifestyle, and they lead to greater engagement in lifelong physical activity. So we, as adults, tend to participate less in physical activity for a number of reasons. But one of the reasons why people say that they don't participate in sports anymore, for physical activity anymore, because it's not fun. And one of the reasons why it's not fun is because people feel like they're not good at those activities. And so developing these fundamental movement skills, starting as kids, is going to help us engage in activities more as adults, but we can still learn these activities and these skills as adults. And I think that's an important point to make, is that we can still work on these skills. And so some of the movement skills that we talked about were traveling skills and object control and balance. And here are some games that you can play with all of these skills. And so there are tag games where you're running around. There's the classic hot potato game or bowling game. And then in balance, there are balance beam games and alphabet games where you try to put your body into the shape of a specific letter. And I've typed up a document, and we can put this on the clinic website so you can read through some of the descriptions for each of these games. But at the same time, you can also really easily just search fundamental movement skill games at home, and you'll get a ton of ideas on Google. But like I said, I'll have a document online. We can put on the Facts in Action website so you can check that out and look at some descriptions of these games. If you're thinking, though, that your movement is limited and you're not sure where to start, maybe these games are a little bit too much, you want a little bit more of a basic starting point, we first need to talk about what determines your movement. And so things that are going to determine how you move throughout your day are going to be things related to your body. So do you have any pain? Do you have a recent injury? If you have back pain every time you bend forwards, you're probably not going to bend forwards as much. If you recently injured your knee, instead of walking around, you're going to be walking on crutches potentially. So these things are changing how you move, how strong you are, how flexible you are. But not only things related to your body, things related to your environment and your daily tasks are going to play a role. So your built environment, if there's any green spaces near where you live, that might change whether or not you're going out and playing catch with somebody in the family. The weather, if it's raining, if you're a fair weather runner like I am and only run in the sun, that's changing how you're moving in your day. Or if you're chasing your family around the house, that's changing how you're moving. If you're bending and picking up little kids, that's changing how you're moving. So all of these things in your day are changing how you're going to move. And as rehab professionals, we tend to focus on your body and we help remove any limitations here so that you can still engage in your environment and you can go about your daily tasks a little bit better. And so, if we're starting with the body, there's a couple of things we can think about. Starting with a strong base is important. So, just breathing, being able to breathe properly, starting with core strengthening. There's a lot of people at the clinic that can help you with those skills, and they can make them fun too. So, you can try some of these at home. So, I'm not going to show you these ones, but you can try these at home where even just lying on your back breathing, putting an object like a stuffed animal or a can of soup on your stomach. When you breathe in, that object should rise towards the ceiling. You can also put that object next to you on the floor. So it's touching your side, right at the bottom of your rib cage. When you breathe in, your side should expand outwards and push into that object. So you can try breathing with this, adding an object onto your stomach. Dead bug is an exercise where you lie on your back and you put your legs and arms pointing towards the ceiling. So you can do that exercise and you can make it a little bit more fun by having someone in the family try to push your legs around or push your arms around. It makes it just a little bit more of a challenging exercise, but more interactive as well. So you can try those at home, but there's a few more challenges that I have for you. So these are some games that you can play at home that can be a little bit more fun, and I'm going to show you some videos of these. If you do end up trying these, we would love if you took a video of yourself. You sent that into the clinic so we can all have fun together. And so the plank game, this is one where you're going to be in a plank position. You're going to have a paper or another object in front of you. My dog's over here in the top left also doing a plank. You can see that. So you have the paper in front of you. And so it can just be you, or you can be doing this with a partner where your heads are facing each other, or there can be a group of you around in a circle with a paper in the middle. Somebody's going to yell go, or they're going to clap their hands, and you're going to see who can grab the paper first, okay, who can grab the paper fastest. So to play this one, so I'm in plank, someone yells go, and I try to grab that paper as fast as possible. And so if there's two of you, you see who can get it first, or there can be as many, 6 of you in this circle trying to grab that paper first. So it's a nice core exercise, but it makes it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more fun. You can do this anywhere at home. Another one you can do is a squat game where someone's going to hold a ball in front of you. You start with your hands behind your head. They're going to drop the ball, and you're going to see how fast you can drop down and catch it. So you're standing there. They drop it from a height. You squat down. You catch it before it hits the ground. That's a game you can try at home. Obviously, the lower they hold the ball to start with, the harder it becomes. So when they drop it down, you try to catch it. You try to figure out where that point is when they hold it a little bit lower that you can't catch it anymore. So you can play that one at home as well. Or you can try the sock game. So you have socks that are 3 different colors. They're going to throw the socks in the air, and then they're going to yell the color right after they throw it, and you're going to try to catch the sock color that they yell out. So they're going to yell color, and you just grab that one color sock. So they throw all the socks up in the air, yell one color, you try to catch just that one color. But instead of just standing, you can also challenge yourself by maybe standing on one leg, by being in a plank, by being in a side plank. So on this video on the right here, I'm in a side plank position. You're going to do the same thing, throwing the socks up in the air, and then you catch the one sock of the color that they yell. Yep. So a couple of games you can play at home. So things to help strengthen your body. So if you have pain, if you have an injury, then definitely a telehealth visit is a great way to talk about those things, and some more exercises to strengthen your body or build your physical capacity before you go into some of these other games and activities will be helpful. But you can still make those exercises fun. They don't have to be just prescriptive exercises. Uh, and then also keep in mind that your environment and your daily tasks play a role. So I just want you to think about those things in your environment that change how you move. How is your desk set up if you're working at home? What things do you have in your workspace that are helping you move or not move? What's going on with your family? Are you chasing kids around the household? So I just want you to think what's in your environment, what's in your daily tasks, how are those things helping you move or not move? So that's it for today's webinar. I just wanted to give you some things to think about related to fundamental movement skills. So those skills where we're traveling, where we're controlling objects, and where we're balancing. And so we'll put that document on the website where you can look at some descriptions of some of the games that are in that document, but definitely just search online and you'll find a whole bunch more activities. And you can put those into your house. You can play those at home. Also, the exercises that are prescribed to you can be made fun as well. Things like a squat or a plank, you can add some complexity to that. In the next webinar on May 7th, we're going to talk about structuring movement into your day. So this is going to be things related to how much aerobic activity you should be getting through the week, how much strength training you should be doing in the week, and then other exercises you might consider, and how you can put that into your day and into your week. And then the last webinar will be on lifestyle factors related to aging and longevity. So that's it for this webinar though. If you want to get in touch, again, here's the Vax in Action URL, the phone number, and the email. Feel free to get in touch with us at any time if you have any questions. We're more than happy to help out. Don't forget to check out that first webinar if you haven't looked at that one yet on telehealth. And then stay tuned for these next two webinars that are coming up. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and write those in the chat box or unmute yourself and say those now. So a few questions coming through the chat box. So question one, if I'm still suffering from low back pain, can I still do these exercises, or would you recommend others or modification? And so this is a it depends answer, which is not usually the best answer, but it does depend on what's causing your low back pain. And so really the best option for you is to book yourself in a telehealth visit with one of the chiropractors or with one of the physiotherapists, and so that you can work together to get a sense of what's causing your low back pain, and then you can together determine what the best exercises might be for you. So definitely getting in with a telehealth visit is the best option if you are suffering low back pain, so that you can determine what's going on. The second question is, what are your thoughts about the pelvic bridge? I do really like the pelvic bridge, or the glute bridge, or the hip bridge, it's also called, where you're lying on your back and you push your hips up towards the ceiling. It's a really good exercise to strengthen those gluteal muscles. And so it's a nice way to build some strength and build some physical capacity. Just being careful that you're not overarching your back, because sometimes that can lead to some aggravation of the joints in the back. So when you do the exercise, making sure that you're keeping your stomach muscles really strong and not pushing too high up where you're really arching that back. overarching of that. You talked a little bit about breathing. Is there a right or wrong way to breathe? And so the best way to breathe, I'm not going to say necessarily it's the right way to breathe, is called diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. And so I kind of alluded to that when I mentioned putting the object on your stomach, and when you breathe in, that object should rise up. So diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing is when that breath moves into your stomach, but not in the way where you're just pushing your stomach out when you breathe. You should feel like your lower rib cage is expanding, and you should feel like that breath is moving into the front of your stomach and the side of your stomach, and almost even into your low back. So it's really kind of expanding the whole lower rib cage, and the breath moves into the front, side, and back. And so that's in contrast to chest breathing, where the breath comes only into your chest. And as you breathe in, your shoulders will rise and your chest will expand. That just puts a lot of stress on the muscles in your shoulders and in your neck. And that can irritate some of the nerves, and that can irritate the muscles themselves. So we want to try to avoid excessive chest breathing at rest. Right? If we're doing something physically active and we're really exerting ourselves, then that abdominal breath will start to move upward, and we start to incorporate some more of these chest muscles. But when we're just sitting at our desk, we don't want to be in this hunched forward position, also breathing into our shoulders and chest, that's putting excessive stress on the muscles in our neck and chest. So proper breathing would be stomach or diaphragmatic breathing, especially when we're resting, and then trying to avoid that excessive chest. Perfect. So it seems like that's all of the questions. So thanks again for tuning into this webinar, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.